Show Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, from New York City, Joe Garagiola!
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alan Coulter, and welcome to Tell the Truth. Hey, first up, we have a man who has worked in the White House since the days of Dwight Eisenhower. Now, what's his job? Well, you're going to have to wait, because first, we're going to meet our panel. Here they come.
Here's Bill Cullen! Kitty Carlisle! Dr. Frank Field! And Peggy Cass!
Yes. Okay, well, you met them as they came out, but let's say hello to our regulars once again. Cullen, Carlisle, and Cass. There they are, our regulars, by golly. See, they're the ones that always have something to say to me when they come out. Now, our fourth panelist is an old friend. He's not a fair weather friend either. How's that?
Ooh,
Dr.
like that.
Frank Field. Yeah. Why do all the cold air masses always come from Canada?
I don't know.
Every time.
It's packaged.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We're going to meet a gentleman right now who works in the White House.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Robert J. George.
Number two.
My name is Robert J. George.
And number three.
My name is Robert J. George.
Don't miss a word of Robert J. George's Christmas greeting. I don't know if number three is going to make it over there. Okay. I, Robert J. George, am the official Santa Claus to the President of the United States. Part of my job is to dispense goodwill and hearty ho-ho-hos at Washington, D.C.'s annual Christmas pageant for peace. Appointed in 1956, I have returned to the White House for Christmas to play Santa for Presidents Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, and Ford. My present assignment to President Carter is particularly exciting because Amy is the first small child to be living in the White House in 15 years. Signed, Robert J. George. Just think about it. Santa Claus comes down the chimney with 4 Secret Service men in the White House. A little crowded out there. Hey, we'll be back to ask some questions and get some answers right after these messages. On our stage, we have 3 bewhiskered gentlemen, all of whom claim to be Robert J. George, the presidential Santa Claus. And we're going to start with you, Kitty.
Thank you. You all look absolutely lovely. But number 3, why is it called Christmas for Peace?
That's the name of the official. I have a little laryngitis. I work
yeah.
outdoors, you know.
Yeah. You're already starting to come down from the North Pole.
Oh, yeah. I've been
Yeah.
out along.
Thank you. Number 2, do you rent your costume every year or do you keep it in mothballs?
No, I have 44 Santa suits.
Why is that?
Well, I dress a lot.
You mean you don't just do the Christmas party at the White House?
No, I wear this every day.
Number 1, do you wear yours every day during the year?
Oh, I sure do. No, goodness sakes, no.
No,
Not
no,
during
no.
during the whole year?
Yeah.
No.
Only the month of December. How many suits have you got, number 1?
I have 38.
Uh-huh. And number 3, when you come to the White House, do you bring presents or do you just kind of make an appearance? Number 3?
No, I don't bring any presents.
Oh, number 2, do you bring any presents?
No
Well,
presents.
number 1, why is it important then there's a child in the White House if you don't bring any presents?
Well, I want to take the Christmas order then.
You take the Christmas order for next year?
Buzzer, and let's go to Frank Field.
Number one, when you arrive at the White House, how do you get there? Limousine?
Limousine or taxi or...
Number 2, what is Amy's stocking size?
Well, she has a big stocking right now. It's shaped like a peanut.
Number 3, how cold is it at the North Pole?
Yes, how cold is it at North Pole?
That's what I asked.
Why do you think I'm talking funny? It's very cold in the North Pole.
Number 1, is it a civil service job?
No. My goodness sakes, no.
Number 2, what do you do when you're not Santa Claus?
I'm a barber.
Number...
Let's go to Peggy Kidd.
Number 3, since this job only keeps you occupied for one day, what do you do the other 364 days of the year?
I plan the events. I make many appearances in shopping centers and department stores.
Yeah, but it's a short season, isn't it, number 3?
That's it. It's a lot of planning and preparation.
Okay, but number 1, why do you need so many suits?
I want to keep myself looking nice.
Yeah, but you know what? You must be changing clothes from morning till night. Now, number 2, do you do anything else, like to help out at the Easter egg roll?
No, just Christmas. Starts around early December. Make appearances right on through.
Thank you. Now, number 3, what is the pageant for peace, and where do you page?
That's the official name of the tree lighting ceremony at the White House. And we do it across the street from the White House where the official tree is.
Now, number 1, do they pay you for this work? Number
No.
1, they don't.
No.
Well, you mean you buy those suits all on your own hook and they don't even pay you?
I'm the real Santa.
How do you like those bananas? Okay, Bill Cullen.
That's exactly what I was thinking, number 1. Number 2, when the Nixon administration was in and things were different at the White House, did you have trouble getting in on Christmas Eve?
No, I just came right in the front door.
Number 1, do you remember who the Santa Claus was, the official White House Santa Claus in 1942?
No.
He, was shot down by anti-aircraft when he on his way into the White House there. Number 1, have we found out what you do when you're not being Santa Claus? We have one barber. What do you do the rest of the year, number 1?
I just get ready for next year.
Are you paid for this job, number 1?
No.
Number 3, when you go to being the official White House Santa Claus, is that a civil service job?
No, it's an honorary thing. I don't get paid for that, but I get paid for all the other appearances I make.
And are those other appearances, number 3, made as Santa Claus?
Oh, yes.
You don't, that's your bag enough.
That's his bag. Very good choice of words there, Bill. That means our game's over. Now it's time to vote, and they must mark their ballots. No change and no consultation. Do you think it is number 1? Or do you think it is number 2? Or do you think it is number 3? Okay, ballots are marked. Kitty, we started with you.
Well, thank you very much. I voted for number 1 because he's independently wealthy. He has no other job. It's not a civil service job. He doesn't get paid. And the real Santa Claus has got to be very rich.
Frank Field.
Well, I was thinking of number 1 by a nose, but I like 3's nose better.
Okay.
So I'll take 3.
You took 3. You want to put it down there, Frank? Right there. Okay. Peggy.
Well, the thing is, the real person on this show has to tell the truth, and I don't believe any Santa's loony enough to have 38. One has 38 suits and another 44. So I voted for the suitless Santa, number 2.
Suitless Santa. Well, that scatters the votes out pretty good. Bill Cullen, you are going to be the tiebreaker.
Well, Peggy, I might be wrong, but I thought it was number 2 who said he had 44 Santa Claus suits.
Number 3, you said.
Oh, dear. Well, in any event, I eliminated him for that reason. A good ho-ho-ho would kill number 3, and I was left with number 1.
Okay. So the votes are all in. Let's ask the question. Will the real Robert J. George please stand up? There he is. All right. Okay. Now, before we talk to our imposters, let me show you 4 pictures that Robert J. George brought into the studio here with him, and I think you'll enjoy seeing these pictures. Here he is with Mamie and President Eisenhower. And number 2, Mr. George played Santa Claus for the Kennedys, too. And here is former President Nixon exchanging greetings with the White House Santa. And President Ford, seen here with Mr. George a few days before Christmas of 1975. Some great pictures there, Mr. George. We thank you for bringing them. Let's find out about, let's find out about our imposters out now. Number 2, what is your name and what do you do?
Yeah, who is it?
I wonder why they used you, Frank. Boy, a guy wouldn't know his own kid on his show.
It's your son, huh?
And I'm his competition on an opposing station. I'm with ABC. I do the weather and science and medical reports.
Stormfield, Frank Field's son, who does the weather on ABC. Kitty, you remember the time they had Joe Jr. and your son?
That's right.
And we didn't recognize him? Don't
Neither
feel
one of
badly.
us.
That's
Neither
right.
one of us, no.
Okay, let's find out about number 3. Number 3, what is your name and what do you do?
That's my mother over there, Peggy. And I got a
Thank you, Frank. Well, I'm sure you recognize Gene Rayburn in Star of Match Game. Oh, boy. I tell you, that's the first time I ever heard Santa Claus sound like the Godfather, for crying out loud. Yeah. Hey, thank you very much, Mr. George, Stormfield, and Gene Rayburn. Thank you all for playing To Tell the Truth. Thank you very much. Oh, boy, that was okay. Hey, would you believe that the ancient Hindus actually detonated an atom bomb over 4,000 years ago? Well, I tell you what, that's what our next guest claims. You stick around. We'll be right back. And now let's meet someone who knows some astounding secrets about the past.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Renee Norbergen.
Number 2,
My name is Renee Norbergen.
and number 3.
My name is Renee Norbergen.
Make notes, if you will, panel, while I tell you what Renee Norbergen has to say. I, Renee Norbergen, contend that a superior race of man was responsible for inventions of a sophistication and variety that have not been equaled until the 20th century. For the past 50 years, historical and archaeological finds have been bringing to light numerous mysterious, out-of-place artifacts known as OOPArts. From them, it seems clear that an atom bomb was detonated in 2400 BC, that a model glider plane was tested on the banks of the Nile during the reign of the Ptolemies, that X-rays were used in China in 206 BC, and that a small computer calendar was constructed in Greece at approximately 80 BC. I discuss many of the new discoveries of advanced technology in ancient civilization in my book titled Secrets of the Lost Races, signed Renee Norbergen. Okay, let's start off with Dr. Frank Field.
Number 1, there was an atom blast supposedly over one part of the Earth in a not too distant past. Where was it?
Over some part of the Earth?
Yes.
In the recent past?
Yes.
Well, I haven't followed recent history, you see. I just follow
It's only up to
what
2400
happened
BC.
3,000 years ago. If I maybe haven't been reading the right newspaper, but
Number 2.
In China.
Number 3.
In India.
Number 1, how was the X-ray discovered?
The X-ray. Well, the X-ray that I'm talking about, that I have read accounts about, is about a prismed stone that they used that was cut just right, and by having this stone behind a person, they were able to actually see through the person.
Number 2.
Dr. Röntgen.
Number 3.
These were found in London, where a number of archaeologists deciphered a number of ancient Chinese documents.
Number 3, how did this X-ray?
Let's go to Peggy Cass.
No, but you said Dr. Röntgen about the inventor of the X-ray, but it says here that they used X-rays in China in 206 BC. Well, Dr. Röntgen wasn't around there.
No, Dr. Röntgen did the X-ray that we use nowadays.
Yes, but
The old was in China, which was a gem, and it was like a mirror, 4 by 5 feet.
Thank you. Number 3, have you found that gem that did that, or have you only read accounts of that
No, we
gem?
have not. We've only read accounts of it, the ancient Chinese documents.
Thank you. Number 3, could you tell me why there are now such a rash of secret books like The Secrets of the Pyramids and The Secrets of the Mayans, what an airfield apparently in Nazca? What makes people go for this stuff now?
I have no idea. I guess we're all attracted to the unknown and the weird and the mysterious. And that
Thank
may be
you.
one of the reasons for it.
Weird's right. Number 1, now about a computer calendar. Aren't there indeed many computer calendars from ancient times? I mean, Stonehenge is supposed to be one, Machu Picchu, so what's so great that they have one in India? Everybody had one.
Well, basically, this is just one example of technology that a lot of people really didn't attribute to people of that age.
Thank you. Well, number 3, do you think it's astonishing?
Buzzer, let's go to Bill Cullen.
Number 3, in a quote here, you say, it seems clear that an atom bomb was detonated in 2400 BC. Clear to whom, number 3?
Historical documents were discovered in 1900 dating back to way before Christ that tell the story of atomic blasts in the Indian area.
No, number 3, am I not correct that they tell something that sounded like it might have been, by interpretation, an atomic blast?
They're talking about firing the Agnya weapon. When the weapon exploded, created a pillar of fire ending in a mushroom cloud, elephants running away in flames, people disintegrating, birds falling out of the sky, and so on.
Number 2, don't you think that any large explosion like that would, as far as they were concerned, be a pillar of fire?
Indeed, yes.
What happened between 64 BC, which was your 80 BC, and now? In other words, all these 3 things you mentioned were all prior to 80 BC. What happened between 80 BC and lately that erased all that knowledge from human minds?
It is not erased, it is still found, but it's very difficult to explain.
Indeed.
Buzzer, let's go to Kitty.
Gee, number 3, you said these documents were found that describe this extraordinary Holocaust. Where were they found?
A number of British archaeologists found these in India.
And where are they now?
They're now in Britain. As far as I know, the British Museum.
Oh, in the British Museum.
Right.
Number 1, are you an archaeologist?
I'm a historian, basically.
And number 2?
No, I work at the Oriental Institute in Chicago.
And you're an historian?
No,
What are you?
I taking my doctorate in Oriental Studies.
And number 3, what about this glider plane that was presumably found on the banks of the Nile?
They found a small glider plane in a tomb in Saqqara, about 7.5 inches long, and it flies.
And number 1, how...
Buzzer, that means that the game is over. Now they must vote. They must mark their ballots. No changing, no consultation. Do you think it's number 1? Or do you think it is number 2? Or do you think it is number 3? Okay, ballots are marked. Frank Field, you got to start. How did you vote?
I'll go for the number 2. She knew Röntgen and had some smattering of science, so I assume.
Number 2, Peggy.
Well, you know, I don't think it's so terrific to find a glider plane 7.5 inches long. Every kid has a glider plane when they're little. I voted for 3. I mean, what's so great about having a glider plane? Is that going to change history?
It's okay with me, Peg. Let's go to Bill Cullen.
King Tut used to have peanut butter. I know that. Very good. Oh. No, I read it. Number 3, I don't know. I think number 1 protested too much. I think number 3 is the...
All right. Kitty, how did you vote?
Well, I voted for number 3. He had an awful lot of very good facts, and he had a Scandinavian accent, although number 2 did too. But I think number 3 is the real one.
Right? The votes are all in. Will the real Renee Norbergen please stand up? They got him. They got him. Let's find out who the imposters are. Number 1, what is your name and what do you do?
Well, my name is Fred Tibbetts, and I'm corporate sales specialist for Flagstaff Corporation in New York City. Flagstaff is an international food service corporation.
Okay. Number 2, what is your name and what do you do?
My name is Margareta Sandin. I'm an investment banker with White Weld and Company.
Mr. Norbergen, just out of curiosity, have they found anything that indicates that there was television in those days? You got a calculator?
No idea at all.
No
we
idea.
haven't even gotten that far yet. What we have uncovered thus far are strictly little artifacts, parts we call them, out-of-place artifacts, found in various parts of the globe that indicate that something dramatic happened way past, technologically.
I was just
And now
wondering.
we're just slowly catching up.
Who came up with the name parts?
Dr. Sanderson, he was the man who headed an organization called the Society for the Investigation of the Unexplained.
We're gonna
It
get
means out-of-place artifacts, parts.
out-of-place artifacts. Well, we're glad you came and told
you.
us all about it. Thank you for playing To Tell the Truth. Thank you, our 2 imposters. Thank you very much, people.
There's no white like Plus White. With its dual-action anti-stain polishers, Plus White whitens like no ordinary toothpaste can.
There's no white like Plus White.
Want to go curly? Get Wash and Curl, the shampoo with curl enhancers that work right in the shower. Thousands and thousands of women have gone curly with Wash and Curl, the curling shampoo.
Well, we don't want you to feel badly now, Frank, because you didn't recognize your own son. As I said before, Kitty and I, we didn't recognize our own when they were on. That's the way these Tell the Truth people are. We had a good time.
Well, I think he's put me on an allowance now.
Hey, join us again for more fun. So long, everybody.
In addition to the cash awards, our first team of candidates will receive fashion jewelry from Sarah Coventry on every occasion. See the jewelry with fashion know-how at Sarah Coventry Home Fashion Show. Our second team will receive Turtle Wax Super Hard Gel Car Wax Kit with high-speed applicator. A proven formula that cleans, waxes, and seals in the shine from Turtle Wax. This is Alan Calder speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
Don't touch that remote. There's another episode of To Tell the Truth, this time with Gary Moore, heading your way here on Game Show Network. You're watching Game Show Network.